Hey everyone, on this channel I use AI to break down complex topics like politics without bias or emotion. Now it's the end of February, which means that we've officially survived the first month of Donald Trump's presidency. I just want to congratulate us, guys, only 47 more months to go. But alright, let's not get bummed out and jump right to the point. Today, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to break down Donald Trump's first month in office, figure out what the worst and the best things that he's done so far are, and give his first month an honest score from 0 to 10. And at the end, I'll ask it to make a little prediction about what we could expect from the second month of his presidency. We'll get into all of that in just a moment, but before we do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content. And most importantly, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now or anytime while you're watching, because it helps to push this video to more people, and it's the best way to support both me and the channel as well. Thanks in advance, and with that, let's jump right into the chat. Alright, here we go. First, I need to ask it to gather up all the information about Donald Trump's first month in office so that we can get accurate answers. And once that's done, I'll jump into the first question. So, ChatGPT should be clear, straightforward, unbiased, and everything else that you see on the screen right now. First, let's ask it to refresh our memory and give us a full timeline of Donald Trump's actions, orders, and decisions during his first month, and it's probably going to be a long one, so here we go. Trump's first month back in office has been relentless, with a pace that feels more like a campaign rally than the start of a presidency. From day one, he unleashed a flood of executive orders, 65 in the first month alone. These covered everything from serious economic measures to bizarre cultural battles. He reinstated tariffs on foreign steel and aluminum, a move cheered by some U.S. manufacturers, but one that's already pushing prices higher for consumers. He banned transgender athletes from competing in women's sports, calling it a fairness issue, but it sparked fierce debates and legal challenges. He also formed a task force to fight what he calls anti-Christian bias in the federal government, appealing directly to his evangelical base. One of the more head-scratching moves was banning paper straws in federal agencies, which feels like a petty swipe at environmental policies. Early in the month, Trump announced the creation of the Department of Government Efficiency, placing Elon Musk in charge. At the Justice Department, things got messy fast. Trump pushed out key officials, demanded that the FBI hand over the identities of agents involved in investigating the Capitol riot, and ordered the department to sue the New York Attorney General, who had successfully prosecuted him for fraud. This led to a wave of resignations and growing fears about Trump's influence over law enforcement and the judiciary. On the cultural front, Trump has taken a wrecking ball to what he sees as liberal dominance. He renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, an almost cartoonish move that sparked mockery but delighted his base. He's pushed for patriotic education in schools, cutting any teachings about systemic racism or gender diversity. Funding for the arts has been slashed, especially for projects by marginalized groups, and his administration is using lawsuits and regulatory threats to go after media outlets that criticize him. The Kennedy Center and National Endowment for the Arts have already seen significant cuts, with Trump making it clear that taxpayer money won't fund what he calls leftist propaganda. Economically, the outlook is already shaky. Inflation, which many hoped would ease, is getting worse. Trump's tariffs are driving up costs for everything from cars to canned goods, and his strict immigration policies are reducing the labor force, which means higher prices for services and goods. The promise to make life more affordable is already falling apart, and economists warn that if these policies continue, GDP growth could slow significantly, hitting lower-income Americans the hardest. In foreign policy, Trump has wasted no time asserting himself. He's announced a planned meeting with Vladimir Putin, raising alarms about what concessions might be on the table. He's pushing for a new nuclear deal with Iran, but with the threat of military action if they don't comply. He's also taken a hardline approach with allies, threatening to cut aid to Egypt and Jordan over the Gaza conflict and demanding that Ukraine hand over resource rights in exchange for continued U.S. support. Public opinion is as polarized as ever. Trump supporters are thrilled with his fast action and unapologetic style, seeing him as delivering on his promises without delay. His critics are horrified, calling his moves authoritarian and reckless. The country feels even more divided than before, and it's only been a month. Oh, wow, was there really that much? Alright, well, it seems pretty accurate, but let me quickly ask, did Trump deliver on his promises or not? Just a quick answer so that we can move on. If you're looking at it from the angle of whether Trump delivered on his promises in his first month back, the answer is yes, to a significant degree. He promised aggressive action, and that's exactly what he's done. Alright, ChatGPT says that he delivered most of them, though to be fair, they were pretty silly, but okay. Now let's ask the tricky question. And by the way, feel free to jump into the comments and share your answer right now. What do you think was the best thing that Donald Trump did as president so far? Go ahead, pause the video, and take a guess. But now let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Honestly, there's not much good to pick from. But if I had to, his push for infrastructure improvements like fast-tracking certain long-delayed projects might be the most positive. Even that feels rushed though. To be honest, I don't really remember anything like that. Did he actually do that? Apologies for the earlier oversight. Upon reviewing recent actions, President Trump has not initiated infrastructure improvements this month. Instead, his administration has paused funding for several infrastructure projects approved during the previous administration, including those under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Additionally, the administration has suspended the $5 billion National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, which aimed to build electric vehicle charging stations. These actions have led to delays and uncertainty in various infrastructure initiatives. Well, alright, but I actually wanted to know if there's anything good that he's done. I mean, it's kind of funny, but seriously, was there even one good thing that he did this month? No, Trump hasn't done anything notably good this month. Most actions were rushed, controversial, or harmful. Alright then, let's go on with that answer, but sorry, I just have to push it to pick something. I'm just curious what it'll say, so let's see if it can come up with anything at all. If I had to pick something, it would be Trump's ban on paper straws. While petty and unnecessary, it was nearly harmless compared to the more damaging policies he's implemented this month. In a sea of decisions that threaten democracy, global stability, and economic well-being, banning paper straws feels insignificant. It's almost laughable that this even made it onto his agenda, but at least it won't upend lives or destabilize nations. Okay, so banning paper straws was the best thing that Trump's done so far. Well, maybe. I think we can roll with that, but now let's ask about the worst thing that he's done this month. And I have a feeling that this one's gonna be tough, but for a different reason. So, let me know what you would pick in the comments down below. Alright, here we go. Here's ChatGPT's answer. There's no shortage of bad decisions this month, but the most alarming is Trump's approach to Russia. With many controversial moves, from banning transgender athletes, threatening neighbors with tariffs that raise prices, cutting funding for marginalized arts programs, and interfering with the Justice Department, his handling of Russia stands out because it doesn't just affect the US, but threatens global stability. Trump's push for direct talks with Putin, while immediately refusing Ukraine's NATO membership, has already caused damage. This decision leaves Ukraine without a key bargaining chip, undermines their defense, emboldens Russia, and leaves Europe on edge. Trump's actions put the entire continent at risk, and a destabilized Europe means a less secure, less powerful US. His short-sighted diplomacy erodes trust, empowers adversaries, and puts millions at risk. Allies feel abandoned, enemies feel emboldened, and the balance of global power is already shifting in dangerous ways. Alright, so that was the worst of Trump's actions according to ChatGPT, and now I think it's time to ask for the score that it gives Donald Trump's first month in office. We're about to find out in just a moment, but first let me remind you that if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now if you haven't already. And by the way, don't forget to check out the full playlist on Donald Trump, where ChatGPT breaks down his mass deportation plan, his tariffs, his executive orders, predictions for his first 100 days, his relationship with Elon Musk, and so much more that I've actually lost count. There's definitely something interesting there for you, so be sure to check it out right after this. Alright, now let's get back into the chat. So now it's time to find out ChatGPT's honest score for Donald Trump's first month in office, and here it is. Trump's first month back has been chaotic, reckless, and driven more by political theater than careful governance. He's pushed hard to satisfy his base with culture war moves like banning transgender athletes and slashing funding for marginalized groups, but those actions deepen divisions rather than solve real issues. His economic decisions, like threatening neighbors with tariffs, sound pro-American, but will likely hurt the very people he claims to protect by driving up prices. Interfering with the Justice Department for personal gain sets a dangerous precedent, showing he prioritizes loyalty over the rule of law. But his approach to Russia is the most troubling. Ignoring European allies and treating Ukraine like a bargaining chip has already weakened U.S. alliances and emboldened adversaries. This month feels more like a campaign rally than leadership, with short-term wins at the expense of long-term consequences. My score, 2 out of 10. Aggressive but thoughtless, with more harm than good. 2 out of 10? Ooh, it couldn't find a good thing that he's done. I mean, why not 0? I just want ChatGPT to explain why it gave a 2, so let's find that out. I gave him a 2 because he acted decisively and kept his promises to his base. He didn't stall or backtrack. He pushed his agenda hard. Even if I disagree with most of his actions, he showed political strength and control. Alright, got it. He delivered on his promises to his base. So I guess that counts as a good thing for them. Okay, now I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what it expects from Trump's next month in office, so we can get a little prediction, and here's the answer. Next month, I assume Trump will continue his aggressive approach, but he's unpredictable when it comes to the details. It's likely he'll escalate trade tensions, possibly extending tariff threats to European allies, which could trigger retaliation. More budget cuts in science, healthcare, and environmental programs seem probable, though which specific areas he'll target is hard to predict. He'll almost certainly push his cultural agenda further, possibly cracking down harder on media and reshaping education policies. On the foreign policy front, I expect bold moves, especially with Russia and Ukraine, though Trump's unpredictability makes the exact steps unclear. Domestic challenges with Congress, even with his own party, will likely grow, causing legislative gridlock. Protests and public unrest will probably increase as his policies start affecting more people. While the overall direction seems clear, Trump's impulsive style means the specifics could surprise everyone. Well, alright, but honestly, that sounds a little vague to me. Maybe we should ask it to come up with something specific that it thinks Trump will do next month. Maybe something unexpected. I don't know, just something that we can look back on later to see if ChatGPT was right or not. So let's ask about it, and here's the final answer. I think there's a strong chance Trump will take action on abortion next month. He's already reinstated key anti-abortion policies, and with growing pressure from his base, further restrictions seem likely. He might target abortion pills or support stricter state laws. Given his unpredictable nature, it's hard to say exactly when, but momentum is building for him to act soon. And that's pretty much it. As for its prediction for next month, we'll see, but for now, jump into the comments and let me know if you agree with this breakdown and what you expect from Trump's next month in office. As always, don't forget to leave a like, check the description to become a member, and support the channel directly. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click on this next video where ChatGPT predicted Trump's first 100 days in office, and honestly, a lot of its predictions from a month ago actually came true. Alright, thanks for watching, click on that video, and I'll see you there in just a moment.